made the Garden of Eden perfect. In a sense, it tries to support God in the face of human beings to say God creates perfection. But God does not create perfection amongst human beings as you and I like to see perfection. There is a wretchedness in our human condition that allows us to feel better than the other person. And the standards of perfection allows us to hide under that nothingness. We feel better in the wretchedness that we see in other people, right? And we draw comfort and inspiration in it to find comfort, to tolerate our own nuisance. So in other words, if we can't find emptiness or struggle or lack in the lives of other people, we pretty much cannot define our own meaning and happiness. So there is a sense in which the pursuit of our success actually is fueled by the poverty in other people. Because at the end of the day, when you then come to share a testimony of the goodness of God, essentially, you are sharing that testimony not because of the essence or the purpose that has come into your life, but because of what is not in other people's lives. So if you share testimony about a car, the essence of the car is to bring speed, effectiveness, and efficiency into your life. But a lot of times, that's not why we share testimony. We share that testimony because of how many people don't have that car. Because to so many people who observe us, that car is an instrument or a symbol of superiority. And so when I have it, I have a final stamp on me that says I'm better than others. Because if you flip that, what you then notice is the idea that some fools drive the same car. People who don't serve God at all buy that car, and they did not steal. Superior customer care, product development, market penetration, they buy the car all day. So when you come to church to testify, you are, in other words, leaning on the pretense of everybody to assume that God did it. It's not different from when people testify that, oh, you know, I thank you, God, for my life. I'm alive. Fools are alive. Criminals are alive. Some of the most... Do you know that Adolf Hitler was going to commit suicide? When he failed in his first attempt to take over the government in Germany, and he failed, he was going to put... A girl convinced him, pleaded with him not to. If he had shot himself, 6 million Jews probably would be alive. Maybe Second World War would not happen. That's not what is worse. What is worse was, he was in his garrison in First World War. True life story. In the First World War, Adolf Hitler was in his garrison. He had a little dog that was straying that he picked up to be nurturing. And you know, he's so narcissistic. And he told the dog to sit, and the dog refused to sit. And the dog chose to be moving around. And he told the dog to sit. Then one of the soldiers in his garrison mocked him and said his girlfriend is not obeying him. It drove Adolf mad. This little dog is bringing me shame. He picked up the dog, removed his belt, went out of the room to go beat the dog. As soon as he stepped out, a bomb landed on the building and killed everybody but him. He kissed the dog. The dog saved his life. Who saved Adolf? Who saved him? Everybody died. He could have just died and saved us Second World War and saved 6 million Jews. So when Adolf is saying thank you, who is he thanking? The devil? God? Come on now. You don't want me to go there. Because a lot of our testimony is just common, cheap reasoning. When it comes down to what God is really doing and what God has left for all human beings to enjoy, it's just like the snow. The snow is a loop. Breath is a loop. You know what a loop is? Like when you put a CD on repeat. That's a loop. 200 years from now, if you don't stop that thing, it continues to play on repeat. As long as the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest shall not cease. Loop. Night and day. Loop. Come on now. Seed and reaping. Loop. Night, going to bed and waking up. Loop. Eating and excreting. Loop. Some things are looped. God did it once. He doesn't do it every time again, every morning. He did it once and looped it as elements of the universe. Some people say, I don't believe in the universe. You must believe in the universe. The universe is created by God as a lower resolution of himself. So that people who are yet to meet God, to have a walking, talking relationship with him, can breathe, can live, can eat, can go out. Right? To think that that is the awesomeness of the human condition, of the spiritual condition, is ignorance. But to say it doesn't exist is nescience. That is, you're not even ignorant, you are worse than that. You're not even aware. Because how is the moon working? How is the sun working? Do you think God is waking up every day to go there and arrange the sun and put the moon in place and make everything, light comes, darkness goes? No. He looped everything. In that loop, there's value. Value like if you work hard, there will be harvest for you. It's a loop. Anyone who works hard will get that harvest. God looped it. Hello? That's an economy in itself. And if you plug into that economy, there will be value for you. Am I speaking to you? Yes, sir. So, when you say, God, I thank God that I'm alive. I said, okay, I appreciate that. Do you know what God is doing in that moment? He's saying, fine, I appreciate that. So, what next? I gave you talents and gifts. I gave you relationships. I gave you quality. I gave you a parent that sent you to school. You could have been born by a pepper seller. You could have been born by an ignorant fool who doesn't understand anything. You could have been born anywhere. Why did I set you up this way? Why is your own life that way? You got to give account. I don't think that Adolf Hitler is going to give account for existing. He's going to give account for every special thing inside of him. So when you thank God that I'm breathing, you are thanking him for low resolution of his blessings. You are thanking him for the least things he has given you, because that same thing that he has given you, he has given to every fool. The biggest miracles of life and the highest and deepest values in life doesn't come from what everybody can have and what everybody can do. Everybody can brush their teeth. Who gets paid for it? Everybody can go to bed in the night and wake up in the morning. Who gets paid for it? We are paid for the things everybody are not willing to do, are not prepared to do, are not able to do. We are never really paid specially for everything everybody can do. The things everybody can do have no value. Usually, if it has value at all, very little value. So if any fool can wake up in the morning, please, stop comforting yourself with such testimonies. I'm not saying you don't thank God for staying alive, but know that God is saying with you, okay, I hear you, thank God, but okay, what about other things? The parable of the talent was not about what everybody has. Do you know that each of the guys that God gave the talent to had some things in common? None of those things they had in common was enough to be a testimony before God. None of them could come to God and say, where is he? Where is he? Give account for your talent. Say, no, I bred for 70 years. I was living for, I have eyes. All of them had eyes. All of them had ears. All of them had a tummy. All of them has a physical structure. All of them had a brain. All of them had those things. God was not asking them to give account for what all of them have. He was asking them to give account for what he gave each of them that each of them does not have. So I gave you 5 talents. Give account for your 5 talents. I'm not asking you to give account for his 10 talents. In other words, God does not judge you by the standard of the best. God does not expect you to be the best. He will never judge you on the standard of being the best. He will judge you on the standard of being your best. And your best may not be my best. My best may be 3 units. Your best may be 10 units. Your best may be 1 unit. Your best may be 20 units. But all of that will be judged by the standard of our best, not the best. The best standard may be 100 units. But he gave that to somebody, not me. And that person who had the 100 units, we give account for the 100 units. I only need to give account for the 3 units that I have. You know what that does? It takes out the standards of perfect behavior. You see, people don't get it. If you are not careful, You are going to judge people by the standard of the ease that you know. Never confuse what is easy for you to do for what is easy. Just because it is easy for you does not make it easy. The graces of your life, the exposures you have had, the parents that gave birth to you, the brothers that you associated with, the school you went to. There are so many things that made that thing easy for you. It's not an easy thing. And if you are not careful, you will hold everybody around you down to the standards of your own exposure, including your employees and your colleagues. And you will say, can't you get a proposal ready? Get this done for me. Well, that's easy for you to say, though, except that nobody judges that. The social justice system does not judge that. It doesn't send anybody to jail for such imbalance of thought. A Nigerian figure died yesterday. A plane crash. A young man doing so well. Mighty, powerful. Things money can buy. And then a young man who just crossed some $1 million figure in his business, if dear protege of mine sent me a message and said, PK, do you think this was sabotage? I'm so afraid of greatness now. I say, no, don't be afraid of greatness. Let me review my response to him. I said, don't be afraid of greatness. If you are afraid of greatness, something is wrong. I need to read you this. I said, nah. This was his words. Do you think Herbert was taken out like sabotage? I'm scared of greatness now. This is a boy doing about $2-3 million a year. I said, nah, don't be scared. Just don't take what's not yours. Don't judge anyone too. On anyone's worst day, find faith to believe in them somehow, no matter how bad. Don't use your power on anybody. If you have someone's balls, testicles, forgive me, let them know you have it, but never crush it. Give anyone benefit of the doubt. Never bite the fingers that feed you or fed you. Always be gracious. Be vocal. Express your variations. Seek redress, but avoid war. Rather, just walk away. Others can make you an enemy, but never acknowledge it and never make one. Pay attention to everything. Interpret everything. Focus on your journey. Tell your own stories. Trust the future. Above all, serve God. Hello? That's what I said to this young man. So you can't be afraid of the future. You trust the future. But you can be in control of what you do now. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to a very simple concept. And believe me, you can live 1,000 years twice and not have anyone drum this into you. And I've seen 10 years 5 times with some extras. I'm not the oldest, but I've spent so much time on the left. I failed so much, I wrote a book on it. And the book I wrote is USA Today best-selling book, Wall Street Journal best-selling book for real. #1 on all platforms. They was published, including Barnes & Noble, published by Forbes Books, forwarded by Bishop T.D. Jakes. That's how much I failed. I can stand here to tell you for free, beware of generals without scars. We have very little, but standards they don't match. That's all they will offer you. You cannot express gratitude if you don't understand the weight of imperfection. There is a dimension of thanksgiving you will never exude except you have been broken. Except you walk some journey and you understand what I call heroic helplessness. The idea that on your best day, with all your power, a tiny ant can take you out. What do you think about Steve Jobs? If cancer was money, or it was research, or it was insight, If cancer was anything near that, Steve would be here. Steve is gone. Think about it. So, this is it. If you insist on perfect behavior, both of yourself and for those around you, before you express your gratitude, you will never have peace. I tell people who are married, see, the only reason why all this drama is happening is because one of you or both of you are insisting on perfect behavior. A standard you don't hold yourself to. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I found out that nobody really does. Somebody came to me and said, this guy is owing me money. I'm going to do this to him. I'm going to do that to him. I'm going to do that. I said, this same money, if armed robbers had collected it from you, this same money, you will go to church and testify. You will, for this same money. Somehow, we see everybody's gaps, but that of ourselves. Because if you change the circumstance under which, the only reason why you are like this is because you didn't lose the money. If you lost the money yourself, you won't arrest yourself. You won't jail yourself. You won't call the police on yourself. You will create yourself meaning, write your own script, tell yourself your own narrative, invent your own drama, and walk out with pride. That's what you're going to do. That's easy for me to say too. I've owed people money. There was a time I was owing, 2007, I was owing everybody was looking for me. Anybody in uniform, Boy Scout, Girls Brigade, police, everybody in uniform was after me. Look at me now. Out, clean, paid up. All those who defined that season as my final bus stop, I see their faces till today. They tried to step on me. They didn't understand while my head was up high, my shoulders wasn't bent, my tails were not between my legs. They didn't understand it. But here we are. At the end of the day, we found out that there is no experience in the human condition that is not a phase. Breath is proof there's superior experience ahead of you. The real quality is to avoid to judge a man by his prevailing season. Don't judge any human being by their prevailing season. The moment you do that to yourself, to other people, you do it to yourself. Do you know it is impossible to cheat? Do you know it is impossible to deceive people and not become a monster? Because the only way you lie to people is because you must first of all successfully lie to yourself. And good liars are those who lie to themselves more than they lie to anybody. Because you can't deceive people if you cannot fool yourself. So every time you successfully fool people, you become a monster. Come on now. Are you here? So let me bring you home. This is the height of peace and access to it. The Garden of Eden itself was not perfect, guys. If it was perfect, the serpent would not be there. If it was perfect, if Adam was perfect, Eve would be unnecessary. Come on now. Completely unnecessary. The only validation for Eve was because Adam in himself was not enough. Somebody said, well, you are enough. That's motivational speaking. Trust me, you are not enough. If anybody is telling you, you are enough, let me tell you something. That is just 21st century talk. You are not enough. Now, when you are alone in your bedroom, there's nobody there, and you are not doing anything, you are enough. But the moment you have to go create a system, build a project, run an enterprise, build something, pursue a dream, create a vision, the moment you have to come in touch with somebody else to activate or start or finish anything, you are never enough. The best of you is always in you, but the completion of you is always in others. No matter how hard you try. It's design. You can't fight it. So to take this home, God made the garden excellent. The Bible did not say he made man and they were perfect. It said they were good. Good. They were excellent. And excellence does not mean perfection. And imperfect does not mean flawed. Because every time we think of imperfect, the only thing we think about is flawed. The garden was imperfect, but it wasn't flawed. It was imperfect in the sense that in the excellence of a thing resides an inherent loophole that is the guarantee of improvement for that thing. In the excellence of this watch, as perfect as it may look in its engineering, there is an imperfection in it. Tomorrow's people must find that imperfection today and build solution blueprints around it to find the next level of this watch. iPhone 13 was in iPhone 12 as an imperfection. iPhone 15 was in iPhone 14 as an imperfection. And whether you like it or not, when you see a Range Rover today and it catches you out and it knocks you out, you see a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, wow, and it knocks you out. You know why he's able to do that to you? Because you are short-sighted. You know why nothing impresses God? Because God has the capacity to live before time, in time, after time, beyond time, at the same time. It's called parallel universes. It's a theory called parallel universes. The idea that you can be and exist in more than one place at the same time doing two different things or more than one thing. Right? And that's not crazy. You are right here. The Bible says you are here. The Bible also says you are seated with Christ in the heavenly places. That's a parallel universe. You are here listening to me. You are seated with Christ right now. You're not going to sit there later. Because the attempt to think you're going to sit there later is an attempt to make a distinction between time, space, and matter. Time, space, and matter are all one. You cannot have a where and not have a when. And you cannot have a when and not have a where. Every time you have a where, it is happening in a when. And every time you have a when, it is happening in a where. So time and space are not independent. Time and space are one at the same time. You can't have time and not have space. You can't have space and not have time. So there's no such thing as time or space. There is space-time. Because at every point in time, space and time are always together. And the only reason why you have anything that has weight and occupies space, otherwise called matter, is because of the intelligent use of time and space. So every time you've got time, space, you have matter with it. The ability to arrest that is part of what makes God God. So God cannot be impressed by anything created out of time and space, because God is beyond time and automatically beyond space and matter. So when God sees a Range Rover, you see the Range Rover in 2024. God is seeing it before it existed. God is seeing it while it is existing in 2024. And God is seeing it in 2034 when it looks like a coffin. When you see a girl and you are like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. My wife is not beautiful again. That's because you are short-sighted. That doesn't move God, because God saw the girl when she was a typing diaper, when she was poo-pooing and weeing all over the place, helpless. God saw the babe when she's now 25, looking beautiful. And God can see her when she's 79, moving humbly. It's difficult to find a prideful, arrogant old person. It's not impossible, but very difficult. Most of them are humble. Mommy, forgive me. Very humble. Because time teaches. So you have to be able to live on what I call bended time. Bend time. For everything you see, try and bend the time. Go before it and go after it. You will see its ordinariness. No matter the situation you are in, bend time on it. If you bend time on that situation, it will take a different face for you. No matter how much you are losing, if you bend time on it, you will realize that profit and loss are the same. The difference between profit and loss is time. It's time. God came to this world to plan the biggest move to save humanity. You will have thought he will organize it on profit. He organized it on loss. That's why seeing they could not see. Hearing they could not hear. Because everybody that were against God camped around profit. And God hid his agenda in loss. Loss can initiate your greatest strategy. But if you count around the immediate meaning of the loss, you will lose the future. And when you learn to bend time, everything comes into perspective. You will never be grateful. Even on your worst day, you will be grateful if you know how to bend time. Everything I've gone through in my life, from struggling with addiction to spending 12 years in the university studying a 4-year course, you don't understand. At the end of 12 years in a university, one university, my mom used to call me Methuselah. No, seriously, for real. She used to call me Methuselah of Lasso. You know why? She was sure I would be in school forever. 12 years to get a degree. Just to get a degree, 12 years. Look, BSc is 4 years. If you put a master's degree on it, 6 years. If you put another MBA on it, 8 years. If you put a PhD on it, 10 years. 11 tops. At the end of 12 years, I should have a bachelor's, 2 masters, and 1 PhD. I got a BSc, and it was a 3rd class. But I'm not living a 3rd class life now, man. I'm 1st class. 1st class. Plus that we now know that 1st in class is not necessarily 1st in life. But God takes the poor from the dunghill and sends them among nobles. And I don't care what your history is. I don't even care what you are going through now. You're married, you don't have kids. You think that is the end of it? If you can bend time on it, there is a glory yet to be revealed. I didn't have a child for 9 years after I got married. That's why I'm dealing with a 12-year-old in my 50s. And everybody did. I remember we went to a party, and one of my in-laws, it was a naming ceremony. My wife was trying to get a baby. She took the baby away. Because we didn't have it. Whatever is doing you people, don't bring it here. It got to my wife. She's small. We're on bending time. She's on normal time. Generic soul, extraordinary soul. Our mess even defines us. So let's keep going. What is it? You're not married? Or what is it? What is it? You lost a lot of money? What is it? Everybody who committed suicide chose their bus stop. If they had just stayed alive, there is a higher glory. Are you here? So guys, we have to come into a different place. We won't be many on this path, but we'll be enough. We can't define our lives by the standards of perfection. Neither must we hold our children or the people around us to that standard. We judge them by what they can do, what they must do, but not by the standards of perfect behavior, because we don't even hold ourselves to that standard. Are we here? And that is when the true aroma of gratitude can flourish. And if you are married, you need to calm down. Warfare, you learn to fight. You don't outgrow imperfections. You lean into it. And create out of it. Some things are constant. You can't negotiate them. One of them is death. Another, in death there's no scenario. You don't go to the grave and see who came first. Say, can you shift, please? I've been here for 15 years. Who are you? When did you die? You just come here and you're harassing everybody. Come on, move to this side. Some of us have been here. You didn't see my coffin. You know it was maybe gold. Come on. There's no seniority in the grave. The grave, the mortuary, the prison, birth, death, community. Community is an association of difference. And this world will never recognize you, reward you for your similarities. You'll be rewarded, recognized for your difference. Your difference is your critical success factor, greatness factor, meaning factor, purpose factor, visionary factor, influence factor. It's your difference. That same difference is what the world will try to judge you for. And it's okay if they are short-sighted. The tragedy is if you don't know. And you allow them to sell their own wretchedness to you and define your difference as your problem and your limitation. That's why we are not grateful. That's why we are not thankful. Pastor Femi is our pastor. He will never be a perfect one. We have a choice. We can focus on that which defines his humanity, in his heroic helplessness as a human being. Or we can focus on the one which inspires us and keeps us going energetic and rallies all of us around an idea and helps all of us to find meaning and engagement on a daily basis on the platform and the culture is not honor spiritually. You can choose that. People love me a lot, you know. I travel around the world. I have thousands and thousands of proteges, mentees that I have their names and their email. I don't know the ones I can't even count. I always remind myself that you know why they love you? Because they don't know you. And their humanity has not been tested by your difference. If they come around you and see what your wife sees, oh, come on. Hello? Hi. One of the reasons why it's difficult, I can't consider, I know my mess. I'm not very easy. I can analyze to heaven. You don't understand. If you live with me, oh my God. Simple thing that I can. But are you sure that's not on 3 dimensions? No. You can't look at it like that. See, the angle, there is a thesis that this thing functions on. You don't want to marry that kind of guy. He will analyze you to paralysis. I can be, my nuisance value is not unknown to me. I'm aware of it. There was a girl I was dating one time before I got married. I sat her down for 3 hours. I convinced her that, listen, I just found out this morning that if you marry me, you're going to commit suicide. How many of you know Picasso? You know Picasso? Do you know? I think I'm correct. I'm not sure whether it's the first or second wife, but the first wife committed suicide. The second one ended up in a psychiatric home. The third one committed suicide. The fourth one killed herself. He married about 5 wives, all of them. They said this man was so genius, he destroyed everybody around him. But that only made the news. It's his genius that made the news. There's a cost to that genius, because not everybody can interpret it. The real problem was he wasn't choosing based on who can interpret it. He just assumed that he was a human being and anyone can. Everyone cannot interpret you. That is not a tragedy. It's for you to accept it. Right now, I'm not trying to babysit myself. I'm done with that. I've checked all my weaknesses now. None of them can send me to jail, and none can send me to hell. I can live with it. Amen? I'm fine. I can offend somebody, it's okay. Against thee. Only thee have I sinned. And done what is evil in thy sight, not in your sight. In thy sight. Against thee. The person saying that, don't forget, he offended people. He killed somebody, took somebody's wife, committed murder, offended the family of Uriah, the family of Bathsheba. He offended many people, but he sinned against God. Sin is not offense with man. It's falling short of God's standard, not man's standard. I can offend you and not sin against God. Come on now. Oh, come on now. I can offend you and not sin against God. We found out in the research that over 95% of parents don't correct their children for doing what is wrong. They correct their children for doing what they don't like. What they don't like. What they don't like. What they don't like. I told the parent that I counsel, I said, let me tell you something. If you continue like this, you are training your children to be a minority in their generation. Because you are building them for your home, not for the world. When I was growing up, to have a girlfriend was if you have a girlfriend like that, if you talk to girls like that boy, when I was growing up. Now, if you don't talk to girls as a young person, you don't know how to talk to girls as a young boy, you are a problem. People need you, and you better let him talk to girls. You better. Before you start thinking, maybe I'm a girl, even though I'm a boy. So if you're not careful, you'll be training your child for the anomalies of a different generation. Now, this is not visa for everybody to misbehave. But we already have a social justice system. People are going to go to jail if they steal. I'm not a police officer. I'm a friend. The police will do their job. I am your friend. I owe you friendship, not enforcement. Come on now. Are you here? The standards of friendship is higher than brotherly kindness. So as I drop this microphone, I'll leave you on 3 things. People, bro. No matter what you do, remember, everything you call life comes down to people. And if you can't love man that you see, trust me, you are not loving God at all, even though you think so. The proof of the love of God is your successful association with human beings. The more spiritual you become, the more relatable you become. If you become so spiritual and human beings cannot connect, you are not spiritual, you are a spiritist. The proof of spirituality is connection. Connection. Connect. And once you choose to connect with people, please understand that they will not be perfect. They will come short. They will make promises to themselves. They will break as many as they make. So, we all have to grow up to show gratitude with God and to stay in thanksgiving. We have to learn to deal with the struggles, the whims and caprices, the nuances, the fancies of the human beings around us. This is the truth of the human condition. This is the reality of the human condition. This is the weight of our human exchange on the daily basis. And everything we call struggle, and everything we call failure, and everything we call enmity, and strife, and envy, and all those gossips, and all those negative, toxic energy we throw around, is because somehow we are sitting on a pedestal that softly suggests to our souls that we are better than everybody else. The world is a level playing field. That which you lack is where I'm strong. That which I need is where you are strong. It's the future of our imperfection that defines our genius as a race. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we must grow. It's how we must navigate. It's how we must all mature. Please rise to your feet. I want to